caught a frog and tied a rope to it. I was thrilled to see the frog dragging a stone. When a poisonous snake slowly approached, I was not afraid at all, and I even reached out to grab it. I smiled as I grabbed the snake by the head. I also tied a stone onto its body. After that, I caught a small fish. I tied a stone to it as well. The little fish could not swim, and I was overjoyed. At that moment, my master witnessed everything, but he did not stop me. Instead, when I fell asleep, he tied a large stone to me. Early the next morning, I hunched over and begged my master to untie the rope. But my master demanded that I first go and untie the stones from the animals. Only then would he help me remove my stone. If they died, then I would carry a stone for the rest of my life. So I climbed the mountain with the stone on my back. I found the frog under a crack in the rocks, although it could no longer move. But thankfully, it was still alive, so I gently removed the stone. I gently set the frog free. Once freed, the little frog immediately came back to life. But when I found the snake, it was already dead, and the little fish in the water had died from lack of oxygen. I was overcome with grief, because I never expected my own fun. It could end up hurting so many lives. My master had seen it all, yet he remained silent, because he knew I had realized my mistake. 10 years went by. By then, I had grown into a young monk. When I saw two snakes mating, I gave a slight smile. Desire flickered in my eyes. At that time, a sick young woman arrived at the temple accompanied by her mother. They came to the temple to pray to the Buddha, but Annie was very weak. She needed to rest and recover before the Buddha, so her mother could only leave alone by boat. Annie stayed behind to heal. At night, Annie slept on the right side. There was an invisible wall between us in the middle. I slept on the left with my master. Before that, I had never seen a woman, so after my master fell asleep, I would find myself sneaking glances. Usually, Annie would sit at the door looking at the distant scenery. I would shyly walk up and tell her not to sit on the stone lion, because that would be disrespectful to the gods. So Annie would quietly leave, leaving me alone rubbing the stone lion with my hand. During prayers, Annie accidentally fell asleep. I hurried over and covered her with a blanket. Mesmerized by her face, I leaned in. Then I slowly slipped my hand under the blanket. Annie was startled awake. She slapped me hard. At that moment, I realized my mistake. I quickly knelt before the Buddha and begged for forgiveness. But Annie realized she had hit me too hard. She apologized and gently touched my face. At that moment, the master walked in. Annie hurriedly pulled her hand away in fear. Then she left quietly, and I pretended nothing had happened. I hurriedly picked up the wooden fish, but my heart was already in turmoil. After a few days of being together, our relationship gradually eased. We often took a small boat together down the mountain to play. Watching Annie with her graceful figure, I would climb to the top of a rock and secretly watch her, because I was so mesmerized. I accidentally fell into the water, but the river did not sober me up. Instead, I reached out and touched Annie's cheek of Annie. She angrily pushed me down, but a different feeling began to grow in her heart. To get better, Annie had to drink herbal medicine every day, and I would personally brew the medicine for her. But because the medicine was very bitter, Annie showed discomfort. I showed how much I cared, before she would casually sit on the stone statue. When I saw that, I would politely ask her to get down. But now I clean the statue. Then I moved to the doorway to sit with Annie and enjoy the view. That night, the master fell asleep. I could no longer control myself, worried about waking the master. I did not open the door. Instead, I passed straight through the invisible wall.